Hello, this is Charlene Lee, and welcome to another episode of Socialize This. Today my guest is Jeff Sandquist, Senior Director of Evangelism at Microsoft. Thanks for joining me today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So you were one of the founders of Channel 9
Yep.
and the Developer Network. It's been 5 years since it launched. It's gone by in a flash, it feels.
Yeah, who would have thought, you know?
Yeah.
Well, 5 years ago, and it was really, you know, I still say to this day it was a dream team of people that I got to work with to go do that. Len Pryor, Bryn Weibel, Robert Scoble, Charles Torrey, a designer by the name of David Shadle, and we all came together to say, let's create a community, an online community that we would want to be a part of as much as we'd want customers to be a part of. And so, you know, started with a white sheet of paper, and the next thing you know was Channel 9 was born.
So what was it like that first day?
It was completely not what we expected. I mean, I remember the night before, fondly, was that, you know, as we were launching, and we had done no, you know, traditional PR lead-up that Microsoft had done. We had, you know, we didn't do the press tour or different things like that. We kind of built up, and a few weeks before, we, you know, met with a few, you know, we didn't even know the word influencer back then, but we said, we talked to some people we thought that might care about what we're doing, and we gave them little demos, and we showed them what we're doing, and we didn't make them sign NDAs. We just said, we're going to be doing this the next week, but when it launches, you know, feel free to talk about it, share it with a friend. And so the night before, our boss pulled us aside, and he said, you know, I just want to let you know that if nobody comes tomorrow, don't feel bad. You've put your heart and soul into what you're doing, and if nobody comes, we're in this for the long haul. This may not be a supernova, was the exact words he used, but you know, we'll be here and committed to go do this. Well, the next day, you know, we had this little counter up on the site for the number of users online. I remember going to it in that morning as the site was going up. We had 20,000 people online. The next thing you know, we had newspapers and CNET, and all these people started, you know, discussing what we were doing. And what we realized was a real special thing that we did was Microsoft, up to that point, people really didn't get to see inside the hallways. They never got to meet the people behind our software. And Channel 9 really did that. Channel 9 allows us to show the developers, the testers, the program managers, the product managers, and show the people that are making our software at our company really care about what they're doing.
Now, what's interesting is that it really opened up Microsoft in a way it really hadn't done before.
Yeah.
Was the company comfortable with this? How did you get people to feel comfortable with
We had a lot of support in that, because if you think back to Microsoft's roots, we've always been at the forefront of using technology to connect with customers, right? If you think back to when there were bulletin boards, Microsoft had a BBS that you could dial into, and then there was CompuServe news groups. When blogging happened, you know, blogging was kind of a predecessor to Channel 9. We had about 80 employees that were blogging. And so it's always been this iteration with forums and blogs and things like that. And so Channel 9 was this next follow-on. People at first, you know, kind of would send us notes, what are you doing? I mean, I sent an internal beta of the site out on April Fool's Day. Don't do an internal beta like this or that.
Good thing to remember.
And so people were kind of surprised, but when you explained what we're doing, they got it. You know, people believe, and you know, if you run into somebody who works at Microsoft and you meet them and you talk to them, you get to learn about what they are and what makes them tick. And you know, you genuinely find people that are excited about software. So doing this was no different than a lot of the other activities that we did at conferences. It just, you know, scales massively.
But it's also very public.
Big time.
Now, have there been any things that went wrong, disasters along the way, hiccups along the way that you've had to deal with?
I think we've done, you know, you look at, there's a lot of successes. I think that there's a lot of times maybe we'll do content that isn't successful. Like I can't, you know, we can go through in there and you can look at different content, and our customers vote with their feet on the content they watch, right? So you may have some videos, and I can take you to a Windows 7 video we did with Mark Rusinovich, you know, in the fall around PDC. That had about 480,000 downloads, I think. I think it's just crossing, somebody sent me an email, that's crossed the 500,000 download mark that people have watched this 50-minute video. We've had other content that, you know, it compares that, 2,200, 2,800. But in the work that we do, we have smart people that are creating content, and no, there hasn't been like the, oops, we shouldn't have done that kind of thing.
Because a lot of companies are very concerned about creating communities, open communities like this, because you lose control. Bad things could happen. You always have the sort of worst-case scenario, disasters happening. Anything like that ever happened for you guys?
mean,
not really.
There's conversations that, you know, we have a site, and we have, you know, where we allow dialogue, right? It's a two-way street. You know, we push out content. We have conversations that happen. Sometimes people say things about our products that probably aren't the nicest things. Sometimes they say great things. We're there listening. I mean, if you go into the Channel 9 threads and you watch the discussion that's happening on a particular video, there are people that like what they see. There are people saying, hey, I don't like that so much. And that's the beauty of the metaphor. Channel 9 comes, Len Pryor coined this term, which was Channel 9 is the in-flight audio on United Airlines. And you can listen in on the cockpit. The difference with on those airlines, and you can hear what the pilots are saying. The difference with this Channel 9 is it's two-way. We're talking, you're listening in, and then you're able to say something back. And so, yes, sometimes, like, people would say, well, it's the one, it's a Microsoft website where somebody can say something right up front and center and look at, and not say the nicest things. But if you go back to, when this was happening, the Clue Train Manifesto was the big popular thing. And back then you'd say markets are conversations. And your customers are going to say things about your products that you don't like and that they don't like. And you're going to have that feedback all around the internet. Well, you can decide that you want to participate in that conversation, or you can just let that happen. People are searching for information about products, and we've decided that we want to participate in that discussion.
Now, did Microsoft have, I think of it as a thick skin that you had, that you could take this criticism and move forward and deal with that. Is the culture built that way, or did you have to grow that thick skin?
No, I think definitely Microsoft has always had a thick skin about, we're in technology, and I think that we are a company that listens to feedback, and I think we do, we're ready to have that conversation about the difficult challenges of building software. Building software is not an easy thing, and we're committed to get things right in the long term. And so yeah, you have to have a thick skin. Doing anything like this, like doing and this, like anything, I don't always use the word social media, but doing anything very public and having conversations on the internet opens you up for all sorts of different feedback. And sometimes, it's hard not to take that personal. You do a redesign of a website, and you have a forum, and you think it's the greatest thing that maybe you've spent 3 or 4 months on. Some people like it. You're not going to please everyone, and you have to go and listen to do that. It's hard, but you have to listen.
Okay, great. Well, thank you again for spending the time.
Thank you.
And you've been watching Socialize This. This is Charlene Lee. Thank you.